What's up, guys? It's Reynad back, and today what I want to do is give you a very quick update on what's going on with the Bazaar. So now that we move past the demo phase of the game, where we had that playable build that we showcased in the last video, we are looking and screening different teams that are going to handle the full cycle of development. So I've thought about piecing together a development team person by person and individually screening all of them, but at the end of the day, I decided I want to focus on my strengths and what I'm good at. And in order to do that, to focus on game design, balance, development, I wanted to have a single point of contact at a team that's really established and great at developing a game, that understands the workflow, the project cycle, and just every step of the way knows what they're doing, and has shown that through previous projects they've done. So right now what I've been doing is just screening different teams like this with very, very promising results. I've been very happy with a few of the teams that I've screened, and we're starting to hone in on the squad that we're going to go with to build the final iteration of the game. It'll be a team of people between about 14 and 20 people is what we're estimating. But it's very, very promising. I'm looking at the previous projects that these companies have done. They just really have it together. And I'm actually super, super confident that we're going to get a game that is exactly to the quality level and the standards that I have. It's a game like Hearthstone, for example, pushed the genre forward so incredibly far compared to what any other digital card game had ever done. But now that the game's been out for a few years, we kind of have the benefit of hindsight at the things that they did right, the things that they did wrong, and just technology improving in those years. So the exciting thing about that is I think it's very likely we can get a game that looks as good or better than Hearthstone, ideally, with a much more modest budget than a massive company like Blizzard would have. So I'm super optimistic about that. That's been my main focus. I extended the trip over in after DreamHack Summer to go to Ukraine, screen some teams there. I'm talking to teams from all over the world on top of that as well. On the card development side, it's been going very well as well, or very well as well, I think is the correct way to say that. I've been fleshing out the different classes that we've had. I've been working more on Chef and Engineer and fleshing that out with more and more cards. I really want to make sure that at the end of the day, we don't just have a bunch of cards thrown in the game to increase the volume of how many cards there are. I want to make sure that every card that is in the game does something unique and has a purpose of being there. And what that means is I'm avoiding replicating cards, but just like changing the values, like if I make a card that's costs 3 and it's a spell and it does 3 damage, I can also make a card that costs 6 and does 6 damage, but functionally they're not that different in most cases. So I'm trying to avoid just doing the same mechanic at different price points, and I want to make sure that as many of the cards are as unique as possible. Now that doesn't mean there's going to be no cards like that. There's still going to be a lot of cards that are bigger, cooler versions of existing mechanics, but I'm trying to make sure that there's a good amount of diversity with the design that we've had. Now that we've had that demo build and I've been playing with that a bit, I've started working on balance for the first time. So the first iteration of the demo, all the numbers in the game that you guys saw in the last video, that was me filling out Excel sheets of numbers based off of just balance in my head of what I thought would make a balanced game. And it was balanced. The win rates were pretty close on the classes. It was like 40-60, which I'm pretty proud of on a first pass through. But not only did I need to balance the classes to get it closer to 50-50 and make sure that different play styles complemented each other more, and that there wasn't just one broken archetype and certain degenerate mechanics. Not only did I have to change all of those things, but what I noticed is the game was too slow in the original build. So the original list of numbers and everything that I had resulted in having games that were 20 to 30 minutes long, which is about twice the length that I'm looking for in a game of the Bazaar. So what I'm going through and doing is I'm basically buffing every card in the game, except for the ones that were already a little too good. I'm basically buffing every card in the game by 1 cost. And that combined with taking all of the weapons in the game and increasing them by at least 1 attack, and doing some general balance and polish means that the game is now going to be about 2.5 times faster compared to what it was before. So I'm really pushing for those 10-minute games pretty aggressively. I think that it's important that people can play a game relatively quickly rather than having to commit, an hour of their time into playing a match. So that's been a big focus as well. I wish that this was the kind of update video where I had something really cool and shiny to show you guys and like progress with a bunch of art and assets. But to be honest, right now we're in the phase of development where there's going to be kind of a 3-month downtime when it comes to like visible things to show you. It's going to be a lot of back-end development. It's going to be a lot of taking the demo, which we did in Unreal, porting the game rules to Unity, which is probably what we're going to be building it in, and then just going from there. So there's going to be not too much new visual stuff that I can show you guys aside from some art assets potentially for a couple months. But as soon as that's over, the very exciting thing is that's when we'll be looking at different iterations of the UI. I can start asking you guys for your input on what kind of like board layout would make sense for a deck building game, because unfortunately, like all the games with creatures and mana, I don't really have a frame of reference for a good digital build of a game. This is all very new, mechanic-wise, and a deck building game being on a digital platform with mechanics like this. So what that means is I'm going to need a lot of your guys' help and input on what you think will make a good UI, not just for desktop, but also for mobile down the line. And I think that'll really be some of the most important decisions that we make when it comes to the game and how to design it and how it should look. So that's still something I'm keeping in mind. I want to consolidate a lot of the things on the board and make sure that everything fits very, very well, and that it's a minimalist board, but at the same time, it still has that depth to show the information that it needs to show. But yeah, things are going well. We're chugging along. I'm very, very confident in the teams that we're screening right now to develop the game. I'm going to close one in the next couple weeks. I already am leaning towards a couple that I think are exceptional, and just can't wait to build some cool, shiny stuff to show you and get your input on it. In the meantime, I'm hoping we still do some 2D art assets that I can, send your guys' way, show you, get some input from you, and things are going well. As always, hit us up, ask questions, let us know how things are going. I love reading about the game. I love answering questions about it. So anything you guys want to hear, hit me up. When it comes to the merchandise bonuses for the Indiegogo campaign, so only one of the tiers had you guys pay for shipping, which means that we're going to have to pay quite a bit out of pocket for shipping for the rest of them, but we're going to do it. We are working on sending merch out within the next couple months, I believe, at latest, I believe. So anyway, sorry that the t-shirts weren't in the mail the week after the campaign ended. We did expect it to take a little bit of time. We want to make sure that we just do it the right way and that you guys get it as quickly as possible, and that we don't light half of the money raised on fire just with shipping costs. So it won't be the end of the world. We found a good workaround, but yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a bit of an update on that, so you know that the merch is on the way. We're working on it. Be patient. But yeah, thanks for the support. Thanks for listening. I'll see you guys next time.